Hello once again YouTube, Chris the Nightbringer here bringing you some StarMade new into Fleetworks, and today is going to be a bit of a different episode. I otherwise would have been posting a video covering this little ship right here, which is the Executioner. Of course, I didn't really plan on making this ship, and it's quite small. I managed to get it done in a day. That video will be posted next week, probably on Monday or Tuesday. Or not Tuesday, Wednesday. So look forward to that. It's a pretty cool ship, and we'll be going into detail with that ship in the next video. But today is going to be combat testing, and there's a very specific reason. Not only was I planning on doing combat testing with the Dragoon, but I was on the forums recently, talking to people and discussing things, and there's a lot of concern about the balance between shields, weapons, and hull. And, this is an ongoing issue that's been, a problem for quite a while. Essentially it boils down to super weapons taking out massive sections of hull and killing ships pretty instantaneously, depending on the weapon system you're using. If you're smart, you're currently using missiles. Either that, or you are using some sort of sniping projectile weapon, a beam weapon, or AMCs that can snipe straight through a ship and hit the core directly. So there's a lot of concern about how to address this issue, temporary solutions, permanent solutions, and everything, all sorts of changes that people are proposing to shields, weapons, and armor. So, I don't know if I'll be getting into all of, my proposals in this video. I may split this up into more than one episode, so I'm going to let you guys know right now that if I don't finish this episode, there might be more coming in the next one. This is going to show you that I personally think people are looking at the wrong parts of the game in order to solve this. A lot of people like the idea of increasing shield capacity. They want to make it so that shields are harder to get through and therefore ship battles last longer. I personally am completely against that. I already think shields are fine where they are, or at least until other changes happen that directly affects the length of ship battles. But for the moment, I actually think shields are fine, considering we make a big change, and that big change would be the amount of weapons you place on a ship. And I'm going to hopefully demonstrate that today. Also, this change, or this demonstration, should show you the value of armor if you change the number of weapons you use on a ship. So hopefully we can come across these points in this video. So I'm real quick going to show you the weapons armament of this ship so that you can get an idea as to the firepower of this ship. I will be flying the Dragoon today. This is a destroyer. Of course, it's from EVE Online, and I am using EVE Online guidelines. Now, of course, EVE Online does not translate to StarMade perfectly. That being said, I have tried my absolute best to get weapon systems to a scale where the amount of time it takes to destroy other ships is pretty appropriate. That being said, I still have major adjustments to do and to take into account, and there are tons of things that just aren't really working when you translate those values. That being said, it does seem to be working. I'll honestly say that it's going in the right direction. So hopefully we'll see that. So, on either side here we have some beam weapons. We have, and if I go in here and grab the computer that this is connected to, we have 4 beam cannons connected to a 100% beam effect, or a secondary I should say, and an explosive effect, 100%. The reason I'm using explosive is so that the damage kind of actually gets applied, because as far as I know, a beam plus beam is like just a solid blast, and I kind of want the damage to spread out, basically. I want the damage to spread out. That's all. I just like the effect too. It's kind of cool. So, those are the weapon systems on the front. We have 3 of them on either side in the front. You can see the other ones over there in the red. Back here we have some missile systems. They're the same exact size, except we're swapping out the primary system, or the primary system with the missiles, of course. And there's a 100% beam effect, or secondary, and 100% explosive effect attached. Aside from that, this ship is technically capable of sporting drones. So in an attempt to actually get, the drone weaponry to count for the damage output of this ship, I have placed additional computers or yeah, additional computers with their weapon systems floating out alongside the ship. This is one of the drones I have developed, and I believe it's much weaker than the weapon systems that are down there by, well, not a significant amount, but it's definitely weaker, and you can kind of see that when I fire them. But they're right here, just 6-beam cannons attached to 4 overdrive. That is the same exact weapons layout I have on the drones. If I come down here, well, actually no, it's a very specific drone. I believe it's this one. Yes. You can see the 4 overdrive effects as well as the 6 cannons. So that's one of the drones that I've developed, and I decided to give myself that specific drone. These weapons right here are approximately the maximum size for small weapons that I'll be developing for my ships. So this is about as big as it gets for these weapon systems. And on this specific ship, that's about as big as it's going to get. We all, of course, no doubt have seen ships with much larger weapon systems than that. And of course, there's the entire interior of the ship, which is filled with empty space. You know, there's just loads of areas, tons of room to put additional weapon systems. And I'm going to show you why you may not actually need to fill up all that space with this video. I'll show you just how long I can survive. The hope is that I will be able to survive a massive amount of time. I've been carrying on a little bit. I do want to show you the weapon systems of the Executioner, which is the ship I will be going up against. And basically we have, what is it, 8 turrets? Quote-unquote turrets. These are technically turrets. Of course, I hard-mounted them to this ship. I don't know why. Technically, this doesn't really need it because it will be an AI, but it's got hard-mounted turrets. We have, you know, 2 on each side, on the sides, 1 on the bottom on each side, 1 on the top on each side. This specific ship in EVE Online has a 25% boost to its damage, so there is an additional turret hidden on the inside of the ship. Quote-unquote turret. Keep in mind that this is a hard-mounted weapon. Otherwise, in EVE, it's technically a turret. So, this is the ship that I'll be going up against, and as you can tell, it has, oh god, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has 10 weapon systems, where I have, on my ship, 12. So it's actually got, in terms of damage output, a decent amount of weapon systems for its size. Decent amount of damage output. So I'm going to jump into my ship. We are going to teleport a few sectors away. Hopefully there's like no pirates around me or something. This is a pretty dark sector. Let's see if we can get something a little bit brighter. That's pretty good, especially when we look at it from the pink side. And so here it goes. Spawn mobs. Executioner, combat, fit. I never get this like last bit right. We'll spawn in 10. There we go. There's 10 of them flying around me right now. It's gonna lag a little bit, and of course when they hit me, they're gonna take me out a little bit. They're already doing some damage to my hull, as you can see. Wow, that's actually ton of damage. Okay. They've gotten through my shields pretty quickly, as you can tell. Again, though, I am facing off against 10 of them, which in EVE, that kind of makes sense as well. If I faced off against 10 of these ships in a destroyer, I wouldn't have a doubt in my mind that they could tear through that shielding pretty quickly. Let's just see how long we last against 10. Let's see if they can even kill the core. Of course, I should mention that the setting for the enemy AI is on easy, and that of course does play a major factor, because otherwise they could drill directly into the core. Now, with that being said, with the health system planned for armor, the core is going to be less of a target, and hopefully the entire ship will be considered the target. That is what I am hoping. I don't think there should be any system where that is not how it works. The reason I say that is because, well, if we want hull to mean something, then we should actually be, you know, destroying it. And if we can completely bypass that hull still hit the core and drain a massive health pool, then I'm not really excited for that system. We want to see ships having chunks of their hull and their structure blown off, and that system doesn't really change anything. It just gives the core a much higher health value than it currently does, and I don't really want to, you know, have that type of system exist. So we're just gonna sit here. Of course, they are fucking missing like ridiculously. So let's see. Should we spawn in more? I've done this in the past with the same settings. Doesn't help that they're missing a ton. They are damaging me, of course. They are still hitting me. I can't believe they're missing that bad, though. That's pretty bad. Alright, so you know what? Let's just go all out. We're gonna spawn in 40 of these things. There it is, 40 of them. They're all gonna start shooting at me. I am going to move the ship slightly, just so that they are not completely directly hitting the core if they try and shoot at me. Of course, they are breaking through hull. At this point, a good missile could probably kill me. And of course, I am using weapon systems that are nowhere near as powerful on these ships as regular players seem to fit on theirs. They have done a little bit of damage to my own weapon systems. And they are breaking through in some areas throughout the entirety of the ship. In terms of the core room, they have breached it. I did some combat testing with Chicken Wildstyle a while back when I first finished this ship, and he actually mentioned that in his ship, which is, I'd say, twice the size of the Executioner that I'm facing right now at least, that ship that he was flying was actually having difficulty breaking through the hull because there was just so many decks of, like, stuff in here. There was just so much internal structure that, you know, chewing through it all actually was giving him a bit of an issue because he had to spend more time eating through hull before he got to the core. And of course, if the ship turns, your missiles might hit a different part of the ship, and it might kind of, you know, bring you back to the beginning in terms of, you know, applying damage to the ship because, well, you were digging away at one section at one angle, and the ship turns, and suddenly you're hitting from a completely new angle, and you have to chew through that bit of hull. So as you can see, I am still taking damage. Once in a while they do hit me, of course. This is a ridiculous amount of ships. And I'm still alive, I'm still here. I don't have God mode on or anything, of course, because the ship is taking damage. If we go inside, you know, we can see that they are breaching it. There's damage being applied to all sorts of random bits of the hull. You know, there's blocks missing. You can quite clearly see that. Ooh, flashes of lasers. You can see that it's directly penetrating and going straight through the ship in some cases. Those weapon systems are enough to, you know, do decent damage to a structure. I mean, that's 8 weapon blocks per turret, plus the additional 4 for the effect, which I don't personally know, but I believe they add damage to the system. I believe. The effect blocks, that is. So I'm kind of just taking the brunt of this. Nothing's really happening. So, God, I don't even know what to do at this point. I mean, I'm kind of just surviving at this point, you know? And that's kind of the point, is like, my ship, with its massive amounts of armor and its significantly smaller weapon systems, or the ships that I'm going off against, I should say, their significantly smaller weapon systems, cannot kill me. And again, they are missing, like, horribly. They're just, they don't even know where I am, basically. But I mean, I could spawn in another 40. I have no problem doing that. And my computer can handle that, so that's fun. There they go. I'm going to move the ship slightly just so that they, you know, simulate a little bit of the movement that happens during combat. Of course, they are breaking into the ship quite heavily because they spawned right on top of me. Look at the core room. It's hardly getting damaged. Now, I will be doing, now that I'm thinking about it, I will be doing another test with the AI set to a higher difficulty. I have no doubt that that would only be fair to show to you guys. That being said, with the Hull health system, take a look at how much of my ship remains. I mean, they're chipping away at it. In some places, it is very much falling apart. You know, and actually that's probably pretty much the entirety of the external hull. Internally, it's doing much better. You know, there's holes every once in a while inside the structure of the ship. You know, they've blasted away the upper bits of this window, and you know, they're cutting clear through the hangar in some instances. Right? That being said, in terms of the amount of my ship that is left, I would say there's around 80% of my ship left. And if we introduce a system where hull needs to be destroyed before a ship can be taken out, then these guys are doing terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's kind of hard to, you know, demonstrate this without that system in place. I would much rather demonstrate this type of combat with the new health system implemented into the game already, and the reason is because at that point I wouldn't be core killed if I turn up the AI difficulty. The AI would actually have to physically break blocks before they could kill me, or that's the hope at least with the new system. So I'm just surviving. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to spawn in another Dragoon. It's going to be an enemy. And it is fitted with the same weapons that I am fitted with. Of course, it's got missile systems, and those missile systems could very easily kill me. I have no idea where it is. Looks like it's directly below me. We're gonna load in its blocks there, just so we can get a good look at it. I mean, hell, I see its missiles, or there they go. What do those missiles do? I don't even think those missiles really did anything. Maybe over here? At this point, the entire thing looks like Swiss cheese, so I can't really distinguish specific bits of damage. So, oh, it looks like they've taken out the missile system on my ship. If we target the enemy Dragoon. My one set of beam lasers has brought it down to like 20%, 25% shields. Maybe they are being hit by their pirate allies. I don't actually know if pirate allies can do friendly fire on themselves. And of course, I'm not really going to do much against this guy. I just wanted to demonstrate that even with this guy's missile systems shooting at me, I'm gonna survive quite a bit. I mean, they're blasting holes in me. Look how long it's taken them. And the missiles are pretty much a 100%, you know, hit. They're gonna lock onto me. They're gonna hit. They're gonna do their damage. Why don't we just sit here and let them do their damage? Let's see how long it takes for this guy to kill me. That will be the end of the video. This video is going to be going on a little bit longer because this is a pretty important episode and it takes a little bit longer to demonstrate this. I mean, look at this. This is absolutely nuts. This is EVE Online style battles right here with the lasers going everywhere. The pirates have gotten so far that I can't even see them. And I'm hoping this guy shoots his missiles one more time. That'd be great. Some of the beams on those weapons aren't even long range enough. They can't even reach me. I really want those missile systems to go off again, though. That'd be great. And in fact, if that's the issue that I have to deal with, then I will spawn in 2 more of these guys. We'll just spawn in 2 more. They have overheated the core that is above my core. That was the escape pod, the hydrostatic capsule. As we can see, it's been destroyed. My core is unscathed. Now, again, this is on the lowest AI difficulty setting, so I am willing to upgrade. Oh, there they go. They finally killed me. Haha. Alright, so I'm going to God mode myself, and we will get back inside of our ship. I believe I was up here. That is correct. My ship is over there. Let's see the actual final hits with the missiles that killed me. Probably came from this direction. Yep. So, it took 3 equally sized ships just to core me. Look how much of my ship remains. Of course, they're not going to be able to break any more of it. And at this point, I have to completely clear the sector of the enemy because I'm going to be doing another video testing this system again with the higher difficulty in AI. Just look at how much of my ship remains, though. That's what I want to point out to you guys. So, I didn't really explain to you what my proposal was, and I'll propose it now. If a player is forced to use less weapons due to some form of efficiency cap, or due to some form of diminishing returns on weapon blocks, then I think we may be solving a big issue in terms of the longevity of ship combat battles. In all fairness, the amount of weapons that I currently have on my ship seems to be a little bit too low for the proposed system. Maybe double of what I currently have equipped on my ship would be the maximum. Before you started reaching some sort of diminishing return, or if you started reaching some sort of efficiency cap. And the basic idea is that you're going to get so little damage per block after a certain point that it would be more worth it to apply other systems to your ship. And if you wanted to continue applying or putting weapon blocks onto your ship, you would eventually be reaching glass cannon status. You would have very low shields, you would have very weak ships in terms of all other systems besides weapons, and you would be able to fly a ship with a super weapon attached, but you would be facing major consequences to the other parts of your ship design in exchange for that super weapon. You'd be able to tear through a ship like mine quite easily at that point with that massive ship weapon, I should say. But, you know, maybe your defenses are shit. You wouldn't be able to put on as much armor. You would have very low thrust. All of these different systems that you're trading out for this weapon system. And of course, players already put a shit ton of, like a shit ton of weapons on their ships, you know. Certainly more than what I've got on mine. So, what was the other thing I was going to say? There was something else. I don't know what it is. That's it for now, I suppose. Maybe I'll think of it in the next episode. Definitely stay tuned. I will be upping the difficulty of the enemy AI before I jump into another ship, and I will do that on screen. Of course, I will keep everything on screen. So, I will basically jump into this God mode myself, because they really probably won't be able to kill me the moment I jump onto the server, hopefully. Or my own server. That being said, again, that whole proposed health system will drastically change the the behaviors of the pirates. They won't be just trying to focus on my cores. So I'm going to bump it up to hard difficulty, and we'll see how long I last then. Probably a lot less. I'll probably start moving around at that point, but we'll see. Hopefully that's, giving you some insight as to what I'm proposing. I'm Chris the Nightbringer. Subscribe if you want to see more of this type of stuff. Leave your feedback here, or wherever else that I'm talking about this on the forum specifically, and I will see you all next time. Hello once again, YouTube. Chris the Nightbringer here, bringing you some StarMade new into Fleetworks, and today is going to be a bit of a different episode. I otherwise would have been posting a video covering this little ship right here, which is the Executioner. Of course, I didn't really plan on making this ship, and it's quite small. I managed to get it done in a day. That video will be posted next week, probably on Monday, or builds, weapons, and hull. And, this is an ongoing issue that's been, a problem for quite a while. Essentially it boils down to super weapons taking out massive sections of hull and killing ships pretty instantaneously, depending on the weapon system you're using. If you're smart, you're currently using missiles. Either that, or you are using some sort of sniping projectile weapon, a beam weapon, or so I'm going to let you guys know right now that if I don't finish this episode, there might be more coming in the next one. This is going to show you that I personally think people are looking at the wrong parts of the game in order to solve this. A lot of people like the idea of increasing shield capacity. They want to make it so that shields are harder to get through and therefore ship battles last longer. I personally am completely against that. I already think shields are fine. AMCs that can snipe straight through a ship and hit the core directly. So there's a lot of concern about how to address this issue. Temporary solutions, permanent solutions, and everything, all sorts of changes that people are proposing to shields, weapons, and armor. So, I don't know if I'll be getting into all of, my proposals in this video. I may split this up into more than one episode Wednesday. So look forward to that. It's a pretty cool ship, and we'll be going into detail with that ship in the next video. But today is going to be combat testing, and there's a very specific reason. Not only was I planning on doing combat testing with the Dragoon, but I was on the forums recently, talking to people and discussing things, and there's a lot of concern about the balance between shield